One more restricted free agent is off the to-do list as Alexandre Texier has been sent to the St. Louis Blues. Is this a good trade? We're going to talk about that in just a second here on Locked On Blue Jackets.
You're Locked On Blue Jackets, your daily podcast on the Columbus Blue Jackets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Blue Jackets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am, as always, your host, Jay Foster, here to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly about your favorite team and mine, the Columbus Blue Jackets. Just a quick hit today. Alexandre Texier has been traded to the St. Louis Blues for a mid-round draft pick. So I would assume third or fourth, probably fourth. I would like to think that it's not a fifth, but we'll find out. And there goes another item on Don Waddell's to-do list. I had Texier kind of listed as a potential option for being traded. He had a great season. He really looked like he was coming on, but he didn't really have a future probably in the top 9 of the Blue Jackets. He was going to be a fourth line guy here. He's apparently signed to an extension with St. Louis for 2 years at $2.1 million, which is probably about what he's worth, in fairness, but that feels like a lot to pay for a fourth line guy. It's not a bad trade. I don't hate it. It's not the trade that I was expecting to come out of Columbus first, but it's fine. Again, I'm not surprised that Texier was moved. I am surprised that he was traded and then immediately extended, which makes me think that the Blues think that there's something there with Texier. But either way, it is one whole item off Don Waddell's to-do list. It is another RFA dealt with, so we're getting down there. Guys that need contracts still: Kirill Marchenko, Alex Nylander, Cole Sillinger, Jake Bean, but I'm hearing that he's probably gone. Kent Johnson still needs a new contract. So we're down to, realistically, 4 RFAs, and they have $21.5 million of cap space to do that with. So obviously, it's still early in the day. The draft doesn't start for another 3 hours or so. There's still moves that Waddell can make. I know there's a lot of chatter about the 4th overall potentially being in play. I don't see it. It would have to be like huge return, honestly. But Patrick Laine still in play. Obviously, he's still in the program, so teams can't talk to him. Which means Columbus can't talk to him to find out where he wants to go. If he has any destinations in mind, other teams can't talk to him to find out if he would be interested in either playing there or like staying there long term, etc., etc. But he can be traded while he's in the program. Teams just can't talk to him, so it would be kind of a risk for the team acquiring him, especially. And he also has a modified no trade clause, so he has to. So I assume Columbus has his 10-team no trade list, but because he's in the program, they can't talk to him, which means he can't waive. He can't waive his no trade if one of those 10 teams reaches out, and so if I was a betting man, which I'm only sometimes am, I would put money on Laine not being traded at the draft. I wouldn't be surprised if he was, but I don't think it'll happen just because it's so up in the air. There's so many moving parts, and I really do think they want him to come out of the program so they can have a conversation with him, so other teams can have conversations with him before they move him. In terms of Texier, though, the Blue Jackets, like I said, they free up a roster spot. He was not going to be a top 9 guy in Columbus. $2 million is expensive for a fourth line guy, especially considering they're still paying Sean Kuraly $2.5. I assume the fourth line going into the season will probably be Kuraly, Olivier, and Danforth. It frees up one of those spots on the wing for potentially a guy like Alex Nylander. Blue Jackets currently have 9 forwards under contract. and 4 more guys that need space. So that is 13. So 13 forwards. That's including Gavin Brindley. In that, he's still on the roster. He obviously is kind of a question mark to make the roster. I think there's still a question mark about Nylander as well. But now that Texier has been moved, there is a little bit more flexibility in the forward roster, and there could be more guys. Could be more guys on the move. I'm not expecting it, but definitely more guys to be on the move. I will miss Texier. I thought he was a fun player that was really kind of on his way to figuring the NHL out when obviously last season happened and everything kind of went wrong. He got injured and then I believe had a family bereavement or something like that. Ended up going back playing the rest of the year in Switzerland to be closer to home. I don't know is the answer here to what really went on, but he came back, had career highs in everything, was what the conversations look like in terms of a new contract. 2.1 million is not like break the bank expensive, but I could see why if they want to prioritize, Kromachenko getting a little bit more money potentially, that could be the difference between him getting an extra million and then giving an extra year. It's the difference between signing him for like 5x5 or 4x4. And I don't know that either of those contracts are what will happen, but like that could be the difference. And so Texier, I think, unfortunately, kind of the odd man out here. There's still, like I said, obviously a lot of movement, but this gives them some roster flexibility. It gives them a little bit more cap space. I'll miss him. I liked him as a player. I thought he was a fun player. I enjoyed he joined the Russian mafia as kind of an honorary Russian. Like that was fun, but it's not like the end of the world that he's gone. It's not. Oh man, how are they going to replace Alex Texier? One of those. Like I hate it for a personal reason. I don't hate it. I am bummed about it from a personal point of view, but from a hockey point of view, I'm like, yeah, no, it's fine. I don't hate it. I'll be interested to see what the pick is because mid-round pick could be a third-round pick. It could be a fifth-round pick. I imagine it's probably a fourth-round pick, and the Blue Jackets have had some gems in the fourth round recently, but we'll see. That's kind of all I've got for this. I will be back and checking in throughout the day. Obviously, if any more trades happen, I'll hop back on. We'll be doing some stuff about the draft later tonight as the Blue Jackets make their fourth overall pick, if the fourth overall pick stays there, which I have to imagine it would. I can't see them moving it. I really just can't. But follow us on Twitter at _Jacob Foster, JAKOBFORSTER. Follow the show at LO_Blue Jackets on Twitter. Email me if you have comments, questions, criticisms. Thank you for making at lockedonbluejackets@gmail.com. I have to give you the email address. That's important. Thank you for making this your first listen of the day, every single day. We are free and available on all podcast platforms, on YouTube and on SiriusXM. And until tomorrow, or until later today, I guess, make sure you stay locked on.